Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Today I'm going to talk about the first horse, the white horse, the first seal of Revelation 6. So I'm just going to get started. This is going to move pretty quickly. I'm going to throw a lot of information at you. I want to start out at Revelation 6. I watched as the Lamb broke the first of seven seals. I heard one of the four living beings saying in a thundering voice, "Go." And this is the one of the four living beings is one in the four cardinal directions around the throne, and we'll see them show up later. I heard one of the four living beings saying in a thundering voice, "Go." I looked, and there in front of me was a white horse. Its rider had a bow and was given a crown, and he rode off as a conqueror to conquer. Now, a lot of people teach that there's a lot of different teachings out there. One is that this is an illustration of an antichrist figure. Um, there's with all the some of the symbolisms, and that like this bow, he has a bow but he doesn't have the arrows, so they get into all this speculation and get off in the bushes about this thing without doing real research. And then another teacher teaches that that this is kind of like they're a race of people, that it's the white man. um, and so I don't get too much into that theory. um, then there's other people that teach some other stuff that I'll go into as I get through the etymology of some of these words. So the white in this is 3022 in the Greek, and it's leukois, and it means like a bright garment, and a whiteness, and a brilliantness, and it's also related to the same word that's used when the saints have their white clothes in Revelation 19:14. And the writer here, the word is a neutered, or is also to include the feminine aspect of, so it can be I tend to think that it's a group of people that are includes male and female, and that word is 3588 in the Greek, which is ho. Here's where we get into the nitty gritty of this. Bow comes from the word toxon, which is 5115 in the Greek. And I've heard a teacher teach that this comes from the word toxic. And then he builds this whole scenario that this is proof that this is a toxic horse, that it's a bad horse. But the reality is that it comes from the base tikto, and tikto means a simple fabric, and it means to beget, to bring forth. And the usage is to bear, to like in birth, born, bring forth, gave birth, give birth, gives birth, as in labor. Okay, so hold on to that idea, because that is related to the woman in travail who's about to give birth to the 144,000, the man child, who the dragon is trying to devour. The crown is 4735, is Stephanos, and it's a wreath. It's honor, glory, and victory. And we see in the letters to the churches, after each one, it says, he who wins the victory will be given these gifts. And so this white horse goes out conquering as a conqueror. And we are to go out in this faith, conquering, and to win this victory through our suffering, through our death, and other means. So I'm going to jump over to Revelation 7, And it says, after this, I saw four angels standing at the four corners of the earth. And these are those four living beings on the cardinal directions of the throne that told these horses to go. The first, the first four horse riders. The hold back the four winds of the earth. So also the parallels to those four horses are the four the four trumpets, the four shofar that destroy the a third of the earth, like the trees, the grass, the rivers, and the sea. And then the fourth one is the stars and the sun and the moon. But these four winds are held back until the 144,000 are sealed, so that no wind would blow on the land or the sea or on any tree. I saw another angel coming from the east with a seal from the living Yah, and he shouted to the four angels who has been given the power to harm the land and the sea, do not harm the land or the sea or the trees until I have sealed the servants of our Yah in their foreheads. I heard how many were sealed, 144,000 from every tribe of the people of Israel. And it goes into the 12 tribes, and there's 12,000 from each tribe, which makes up the 144,000. And just to end all this speculation on what the criteria for this people is, we go to Revelation 14. Then I looked, and there was the Lamb standing on Mount Zion. With him were the 144,000 who had his name, his father's name, written on their foreheads. These were the ones that angel just sealed. And we'll see that that this child was caught up to Yah in his throne, and they're in Zion, in heaven. I heard a sound from heaven like the sound of rushing waters and like the sound of pealing thunders. The sound I heard was also like that of harpists playing with their harps. They were singing the new song before the throne and before the living beings and the elders, and no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who have been ransomed from the world. These are the ones who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They have been ransomed from among humanity as first fruits for Yah and the Lamb. On their lips was found no lie. They were without defect. So these people were virgins and with no lies on their lips. All right, and then so now I'm going to go over to Revelation 12. Now a great sign was seen in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun under her feet, the moon, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. So those are the 12 tribes. She was pregnant and about to give birth, and she screamed in agony of labor, and that goes back to that bow, the labor. She's about to give birth. Another sign was seen in heaven. There was a great red dragon, the 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his heads were 7 royal crowns. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the heaven and threw them down to the earth. It stood in front of the woman about to give birth, so that it might devour the child the moment it was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, one who will rule all the nations with a staff of iron. So we see that staff of iron again. But her child was snatched up to Yah and his throne, and she fled to the desert. See, the child was snatched up, and we just read where the 144,000 are up in with Yah and the Lamb in heaven in Mount Zion. But her child was snatched up to Yah and his throne, and she fled to the desert where she had a place prepared by Yah so that she can be taken care of for 1,260 days. Okay, and then now I want to read Revelation 8, and this is the trumpet. Let me see what we got. When starting at verse 2. Then I saw the 7 angels who stand before Yah, and they were given 7 shofar. Another angel came and stood at the altar with a golden incense bowl. He was given a large quantity of incense to add to the prayers of all of Yah's people on the gold altar in front of the throne. The smoke of the incense went up with the prayers of Yah's people from the hand of the angel before Yah. Then the angel took the incense bowl, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it down onto the earth. And there followed peals of thunder, voices, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. And we're already seeing signs of these fires breaking out, and the lightnings, and these things that are, these voices and stuff. Now the 7 angels with the 7 shofar prepared to sound them. The first one sounded his shofar, and there came hail and fire mingled with blood, and it was thrown down upon the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. So we're going to see, these events happening with this fire and blood, bloodshed, and things burning. We're also going to see a lot of kingdoms of men. We're already seeing it. The kingdoms of men are beginning to be toppled. There's protests around the world, from one thing or another, corrupt governments, injustices, you name it. These things are happening. And so what I want to do is go back to Revelation 2, and I'm going to read the first letter to the churches, and we see in each letter to the church it says, he who wins the victory will be, given this, right? And that's parallels with this conqueror, this horse, this white horse that we're to go out and conquer and win the victory, for our salvation, right? And help others win this victory. But this letter is meant to draw you back to Yah and to get right with him. It says, to the angel of the community of Ephesus write, here's the message from the one who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks among the 7 golden menorahs. I know that you have been doing, how hard you have worked, how you persevere, and how you can't stand wicked people. So you tested those who call themselves emissaries but aren't, and you found them to be liars. You are persevering, and you have suffered for my sake without growing weary. But I have this against you. You have lost the love that you had at first. Therefore, remember where you were before you fell. Turn from this sin so that you do what you used to do before. Otherwise, I will come to you and remove your menorah from its place. If you do not turn from your sins, but you have this in your favor, you hate what the Nicolaitans do. I hate it too. But you have this in your favor. You hate what the Nicolaitans do. I hate it too. And it goes on. Let's see. Those who have an ear, let them hear what the Spirit says to the Messianic communities. To him winning the victory, I will give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in Yah's Gan Eden. And so, what is that thing of the Nicolaitans? Nevertheless, I'm going to skip down because he warns several of the communities. Nevertheless, I have a few things against you. You have some people who hold to the teachings of Balaam, who taught Balak to set a trap for the people of Israel, so that they would eat food that had been sacrificed to idols and commit sexual sin. Likewise, you have people who hold to the teachings of the Nicolaitans. Therefore, turn from these sins. And I'm going to skip down to the next community. You continue to tolerate that Jezebel woman, the one who claims to be a prophet, but is teaching and deceiving my servants to commit sexual sin and eat food that has been sacrificed to idols. I gave her time to return from her sin, but she doesn't want to repent of her immorality. So I'm throwing her into a sick bed, and those who commit adultery with her I am throwing into great trouble, unless they turn from the sins connected with what she does. And I will strike her children dead. And so each of these letters, it's at the end of it, it says, he who wins the victory will not be hurt at all by the second death. To him who winning the victory, I will give some of the hidden man. I will also give him a white stone on which is written a new name that nobody knows except the one receiving it. To him who wins the victory and does what I want until the goal is reached, I will give him authority over the nations. He will rule them with a staff of iron, which is the 144,000 rule, and dash them to pieces like pottery. Just as I have received authority from my Father, I will also give him the morning star. Those who have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the communities. And then the next one, he who wins the victory will, like them, be dressed in white clothing. Who, like them, the 144,000, will be dressed in white clothing. That's the white horse. And I will not blot his name out of the book of life. In fact, I will acknowledge him individually before my Father and before his angels. Those who have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the communities. And then we'll go to the sixth one. Here, let me see if, because they did not obey the message, because they did obey my message about persevering, I will keep you from the time of trial coming upon the whole world. So this is the Philadelphia. So this is later on in the Great Tribulation period, where the great, the bowls of wrath are poured out. Those who follow this will be, pulled off. So there's like these separations, like these are the seven fires of purification of the silver, right? You're purified 7 times. So this sixth, if you're at this level, then you get scraped off and protected because you've been purified. And the seventh church will most likely go through this because they're still coveting like the wealth and stuff, that they're made rich and stuff. So I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take away your crown, that crown of life. I will make him who wins the victory go out conquering as a conqueror, a pillar in the temple of my Yah, and he will never leave it. Also, I will write on him the name of my Yah and the name of my Yah's city. So in the beginning, the 144,000 are marked at the sixth trumpet, at the sixth letter to the churches, the sixth seal. These people receive their mark. I will write my name. Also, I will write on him my the name of my Yah and the name of my Yah's city, New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from my Yah, and my own new name. So Yeshua is going to have a new name. Those who have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the communities. And then I jump down. It says, as for me, I rebuke and discipline everyone I love. So if Yah is rebuking you and disciplining you, then that means he loves you. So not all suffering comes from, suffering comes from our sin, but we're rebuked and disciplined. He rebukes and disciplines those he loves. So take courage in that. So exert yourselves and turn from your sin. Here I am standing at the door, knocking. If someone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in to him and eat with him. So this is the seventh church. It's right before his return. He's still knocking. He still wants salvation, people to turn from their wickedness, even up until the very end. I will come to him and eat with him, and he will eat with me. I will let him who wins the victory sit with me on my throne, just as I myself also won the victory, just as I won the victory. That's the part people want to skip past. It says, let him who wins the victory sit with me on my throne, just as I myself also won the victory. Yeshua had to die. He was righteous and pure, and he still had to die. But he had to die trusting that the Father was gave him the power to raise his life back up, that he had victory over death, and sat down with my Father on his throne. Those who have ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying to the communities. So I thank you for watching this video. If you have watched this far, I guess this video is just to bring more clarity to this white horse that we are to go out and conquer in our faith, and win the victory. And the victory is not being right with men, and winning arguments, or winning political positions and all that. It's winning our soul, and winning our life, and becoming right with the Father, and and defeating the dragon, defeating the beast, the false prophet, and defeating the image of the beast, and defeating the mark of the beast, and not receiving those marks, that we trust that we're going to receive a mark from the Most High. And so I want to encourage you guys in that, and just keep the faith, and know that we have a Redeemer, and that we have weapons of war, and we need to use them. We need to pray, fast, blow the shofar, play the drums, dance, sing the Psalms. It's a great songbook. Read the scriptures, read the Torah, keep the law. It says that those who keep to the testimony of Yeshua and keep the commandments of the Father are the ones who make war with the saint, that make war with the dragon and the beast, and we will overcome them. So that's what this video is for. And go out and be a conqueror, and receive your crown of life, and receive your birth. It's your birthright into the kingdom. And I hope to see you in another video.